Everyone, I am coming to you because I want to address something, and I have to get this camera right because I want to read something, because you know me, I want to make sure that what I'm saying is clear and people understand it, and we eliminate any issues of misunderstanding, being things misconstrued, because you know me, I'm very direct, and so I want to make sure that we all understand each other. So let me give you the context that this has come in. So I've been talking a lot lately about the difference between an ally, that's somebody who understands that they benefit from privilege, and they can talk about it, but that's about as far as they go. They don't make themselves uncomfortable about it. And a power being all caps, ally, which is someone who understands about privilege and that they've benefited, but goes out of their way to make themselves uncomfortable in order that I can be comfortable. Goes out of their way to connect me with people who have the resources and networks and whatever to get these messages out. Who does whatever they can to amplify the voices of underrepresented and marginalized in tech. So that's the scope of this. So I've had several instances over the last few days, and then one just hit me, so I'm going to address it. So there's this one gentleman who's on Twitter, and I won't call his name, but I love his candor. I love how he explains how he thought he was being a good ally, but he recognizes that he used some of the terms that I've been saying that you should never use use as weapons against somebody from underrepresented and marginalized communities. It's like on a regular basis, I'm able to share, or other people are able to share things with him that he just did not recognize, that because he's privileged in the privileged group, he doesn't even have those experiences. So I wouldn't expect him to understand or know what these things are. And so that's one thing. So it's been interesting to watch him respond to tweets and messages and giving me clarity and further understanding of what I'm about to talk about now. And then I launched the hashtag causeascene.com, and there's an organization who's willing to who wants to sponsor a shirt, actually. And he sent a message to me via DM, because he said he doesn't ever know, should he be public about these things? Should he be private? How should he do? And I love that he asked me what role, or what would be the best way for him to be an ally to me. So he didn't make any assumptions. He actually said he didn't know. He wants to help, but what would be most beneficial from him to as an ally? That was just profound, because he didn't make any assumptions. A lot of people in privilege who benefit from privilege, they think they know everything. They think they can speak for me. I don't need you to speak for me. Ask me what I need, and I will tell you. And if that's something you can help me out with, great. And so today I get an email from a friend of mine who's just kind of confused, because there's and I won't call this thing out either, but there's this event, and there's this gentleman who runs this event, and he's a white male, and he's having a webinar on how to be a good ally. And so she was kind of like, what am I missing here? And so I'm going to read my response to her, and then I'm going to respond. So I said, there's some value to this in that the conversation is taking place. Yet it misses the mark, because it's impossible for privileged individuals to develop the skills that are needed to be effective allies alone. So many think that they are uncovering their blind spots and unconscious bias, when in reality, many are only venturing as far as what they deem to be uncomfortable, which is not nearly far enough. Too many times, members of these communities have told me that they've never even considered this thing or that thing and its potential effects until it was pointed out. So good start, but to give this without someone there from an underrepresented or marginalized group really pushing them to face some shit, they walk away believing that they've learned something. So they will either check a box or become disillusioned when they do or say something and get their asses handed to them. Bottom line, privilege in all caps cannot train other privileged in all caps individuals on what I need in an ally. Ask me. So I understand what the intention behind. Well, I'm making an assumption. I'm gonna assume I understand what the intention behind this. Again, you know that my motto is, do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? And so in being happy, I'm gonna make that assumption that because this person is out there doing it. But there's a part missing. There's a huge part missing. No white male, no white woman, I'm gonna be honest about this, can be an ally to me, an effective ally to me, without first coming to me and asking me what I need. Don't make any assumptions, because what I need from you may be something different than I need from another person, or maybe what you want to give is not something I need altogether, or even want. So it's the same. You can't know. When you say, because it says in this thing, identify your blind spots, your unconscious bias. Every day, some person of privilege is telling me, oh my God, I did not know that. So how are you able to identify that? Because you don't see it. You are talking about things that you've never even considered. You've never had to live with. So how do you help someone identify their blind spots and unconscious bias to a level? There's some surface stuff you can do, but not to a level that's going to make them really make some impactful change for the people that it's intended for. Now it might make you feel good about the stuff that you've done, but is it benefiting the people that you say that you're becoming an ally for? And that's the question I have. That's the thing I have, because I hear childbirth is the most horrible thing, but people have these babies and then they are just like, they forget the pain and then they crazily go have others. I don't understand that. I've never had the desire to be a mother. I've mothered too many young people and too many adults, and I never wanted that in my house. I made a conscious choice not to be a mother. But am I gonna get on blogs and or do webinars on how to be a mother, how to give birth? Well, no, let's be specific. How to give birth. I'm very maternal, so I can give stuff on mothering, but the birthing process, no, I can't. I have no contextual anything about the birthing process other than what I've seen, what I've heard, but I've never experienced it. So I can't tell you about if breathing works and all. I don't know. So a person of privilege cannot effectively train other privileged individuals in being allies to underrepresented and marginalized communities unless there's some individuals of marginalized, underrepresented communities at that event telling you what we need and pushing you to a level of discomfort. Because this is another issue with this. Privileged individuals need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. If what you're doing is not uncomfortable for you, you're not doing enough. So if you are given a speaking opportunity and you say, hey, there's a person from underrepresented or marginalized community who can also do this talk, that's the ally thing. It's really, especially if it's not costing you anything to give that up. You really haven't done anything. You've exposed someone else, and so that's the limit. But I would say a power ally is a person who will put on a conference that intentionally has those individuals out there. And so those are, it's these nuances. And that's why I tell people, let's stop looking for simple solutions to complex problems, because this stuff is very challenging and complex. And so when we keep trying to look for simple ways of doing this, it doesn't work. So again, I commend this person for the idea. I just don't believe that it will be as effective as if I or someone else in an underrepresented or marginalized community would be sitting next to this person doing this workshop, or this person promotes, say, I'm giving this workshop and this is the person who's going to be presenting the content. So I, as the white male, am putting my resources and my network to use to promote and get people at the webinar. But the presenter of this webinar is going to be a person of underrepresented or marginalized community. That's the difference in being an ally and being a power ally. So thank you and have a great day. Goodbye.